The end of an era in professional golf may be unfolding faster than anyone expected, and it all starts with one brutal question: what happens when the money stops? For 4 years, LIV Golf didn't just enter the sport, it detonated it. Backed by billions from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, the league lured some of golf's biggest names away from tradition with staggering contracts, guaranteed money, and a format designed to disrupt everything the sport once stood for. Players like Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, and eventually Jon Rahm became the faces of a revolution that promised to reshape professional golf forever. But now, that revolution is staring at a reality it may not survive. Reports indicate that PIF will terminate its funding for LIV Golf after the 2026 season. That decision doesn't just threaten the future of the league, it puts the careers, reputations, and financial security of its players under a microscope. Because LIV Golf was never built like a traditional sports league. It wasn't designed to grow slowly, build grassroots support, or rely on organic revenue streams. It was built on one thing: massive, sustained financial backing. And now, that backing is going away. To understand how dramatic this moment is, you have to go back to the beginning. When LIV Golf launched in 2022, it did so with an entirely different vision. No cuts. Shotgun starts. Smaller fields. Guaranteed contracts. It was faster, flashier, and unapologetically modern. But more importantly, it was incredibly expensive. The league spent aggressively to sign top-tier talent, offering deals that the traditional PGA Tour simply couldn't match at the time. For players, the decision often came down to loyalty versus life-changing money. And many chose the latter. Initially, it worked. LIV Golf generated headlines, divided fans, and forced the PGA Tour into defensive mode. Lawsuits were filed. Alliances were tested. And the entire structure of professional golf entered a period of chaos. But beneath the surface, cracks were already forming. Despite the massive investment, LIV Golf struggled to build a sustainable business model. Television ratings remained low. Sponsorship growth was limited. And the league's revenue streams never came close to matching its spending. At one point, broadcasting rights reportedly accounted for just a small fraction of total income. The numbers told a stark story. Operating losses ballooned year over year, reaching hundreds of millions of dollars annually. From 2022 through 2024 alone, losses reportedly exceeded $1 billion. That kind of financial trajectory is difficult to justify, even for a sovereign wealth fund with deep pockets. And now, those justifications appear to have run out. PIF's broader strategic shift plays a key role here. The fund is increasingly focusing on domestic investments within Saudi Arabia, prioritizing projects that align more directly with its long-term economic goals. In that context, LIV Golf, an international sports experiment with limited financial return, no longer fits the vision. The warning signs were there long before the official decision. Earlier in 2026, reports surfaced of delayed player payments, raising concerns about liquidity. Some players even considered skipping events due to unpaid bonuses. Behind closed doors, LIV executives began exploring outside investment, signaling that the era of guaranteed funding might be coming to an end. Now, that moment has arrived. The 2026 season will continue as planned, with 8 events remaining on the schedule. But beyond that, uncertainty dominates. Without a new investor capable of matching PIF's scale, it's difficult to imagine LIV Golf continuing in its current form. Downsizing, restructuring, or even a complete shutdown are all on the table. For players, the implications are enormous. Take Bryson DeChambeau, for example. Once one of LIV's most high-profile signings, he reportedly secured a deal worth over $100 million. But with contracts nearing expiration and the league's future unclear, even he has begun exploring options. Discussions about returning to the PGA Tour have already taken place among several LIV players. But returning won't be easy. The PGA Tour has made it clear that there will be consequences for those who left. Rules were broken, officials say, and accountability matters. While a few players, like Brooks Koepka, have found pathways back under specific conditions, those opportunities are limited and often come with financial penalties or eligibility restrictions. For most LIV players, the door isn't fully closed, but it's far from open. Then there's Jon Rahm, whose move to LIV in late 2023 sent shockwaves through the sport. At the time, it was seen as a turning point, a signal that even players at the peak of their careers were willing to make the jump. But now, Rahm finds himself in a complicated position. He's currently navigating tensions with the DP World Tour, which could impact his eligibility for future events, including the Ryder Cup. His relationship with the PGA Tour remains strained. And with LIV's future uncertain, his long-term career path is anything but clear. Rahm's situation highlights a broader truth: the decisions players made over the past 4 years were based on assumptions that no longer hold. LIV Golf was supposed to be a long-term disruptor, a permanent alternative, a new pillar of professional golf. Instead, it may become a case study in how quickly even the most ambitious projects can unravel without a sustainable foundation. Ironically, while LIV Golf struggles to survive, the PGA Tour has emerged stronger than ever. Faced with an existential threat, the Tour responded aggressively. Prize purses increased dramatically. Top events became even more lucrative. And structural changes were implemented to retain elite talent. What LIV intended to destroy, it ultimately reinforced. Today, the PGA Tour stands more stable, more unified, and more financially robust than it was before LIV's arrival. The very pressure that once threatened its existence forced it to evolve, and that evolution may be the league's greatest unintended legacy. Still, it would be a mistake to view LIV Golf as a failure in simple terms. It changed the conversation around player compensation. It challenged outdated norms. And it exposed vulnerabilities within the traditional system. Even if the league doesn't survive in its current form, its impact on the sport will be felt for years to come. But impact alone doesn't guarantee survival. As the 2026 season winds down, LIV Golf faces a defining moment. Can it secure new investment? Can it reinvent itself with a more sustainable model? Or will it fade into history as a bold but ultimately unsustainable experiment? The answers will shape the future of professional golf. For now, all anyone knows is this: the guaranteed money that built LIV Golf is disappearing. The contracts that defined it are expiring. And the players who once bet on its future must now confront an uncertain reality. Because in the end, the question that started it all, how much is your loyalty worth, has been replaced by a far more urgent one. What is left when the money is gone?